Hello, I'm Miss Rhonda, and I'd like to welcome you to Part 1 of the Fraction series by Learnish. Part 1 will be an introduction to fractions. We'll cover proper fractions, improper fractions, mixed numbers, like denominators, and unlike denominators. You've been using fractions most of your life. For example, if your family orders a pizza, it's usually divided into equal parts. And that's what a fraction is, something that's divided into smaller parts. A fraction is divided into two different parts, the numerator and the denominator. The numerator represents how many parts we have, and the denominator is how many parts it's divided into. For example, this pizza is divided into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's divided into 4 equal parts. That will represent the denominator. But let's say your pesky little brother takes one piece of that pizza away. Now you have 1, 2, 3 pieces. You have 3 out of 4. Or 3/4 pieces of pizza. You have 3 out of 4 slices of pizza left, or parts of the pizza left. The 3 represents the numerator, and it's the number on top. You can remember that it goes on top because you can write up using numerator up on top, and the 4, how many pieces you had altogether, or how many it's divided into, is the denominator. And you can write the word down with denominator because it belongs down below. Numerator goes on top, denominator is down on the bottom. The numerator is how many pieces you have, and the denominator is how many pieces you have altogether, or how many pieces it's divided into. This pizza is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces. That's our denominator. And all of those pieces are there. So we have 6 out of 6. And any number over itself just equals 1. So we have one whole pizza. This pizza is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices, or 8 pieces. So we'll put that number on the bottom for the denominator, but we only have 2 pieces left. So that will be our numerator. We have 2/8 of a pizza. This pizza is divided, we can easily see, into 4 different sections. And we have 2 of those sections. You might look at that one and say, you know what, I can tell that's 1/2. And you're correct. We have half a pizza. 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2. So let's look at how many pieces these are all divided into, or how many sections each of them are divided into. Here we have 2, and that will be our denominator. We have 3 sections here. This one is divided into 4ths, or 4 sections. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections. This one's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8ths. Those are our denominators. That's how many pieces or parts that they're divided into. Now we can look at how many are shaded in. If we look at this one, and the blue part, the shaded in blue part, we have 1. Of this one, all of them are shaded, all 3. And remember that anything over itself just equals 1 whole. You can tell that's all 1 whole. This one is shaded in 2 pieces, but look at this one and this one. They're the same. That's 1/2. This is 2/4, which is the same. Okay, let's look at this one. There are 2 out of 5 shaded in. This one has 3 out of 6 shaded in, and this one has 4 out of 8 shaded in. Now let's take a look at proper fractions. In order for a fraction to be a proper fraction, the numerator should be smaller than the denominator. So the numerator in this case is 1, the denominator 2. The numerator is smaller, the denominator is the larger number, so that's a proper fraction. Think of it like this party hat. If you were going to put this on your head, this would work fine because the larger part is at the bottom, the smaller part is at the top. If you had it reversed and tried to put it on like this, it would never work. It wouldn't be big enough. For it to be a proper fraction, we need it to be smaller on top and larger on the bottom. And here are some yummy examples of proper fractions. This first cookie is divided into 4 parts, and there are 2 parts still there. Someone ate half a cookie. This one is divided into 5 parts, and we have 2 parts still there. This one is divided into 4 parts, and we have 3 parts still there. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is divided into 6 sections, and 5 sections are still there. 2/4, 2/5, 3/4, 5/6. Notice that the numerator is smaller than the denominator in every case. The denominator is larger than the numerator for each one of these. Some other examples of proper fractions would be 2/8, 5/7, 9/10, 8/12. I bet you can think of a couple. Why don't you pause the video and write down a couple of examples of proper fractions. And now we're going to talk about improper fractions. An improper fraction is just the opposite of a proper fraction. It has a larger number for the numerator and a smaller number for the denominator. So the larger number is on top, the smaller number is on the bottom. And that's an improper fraction. Let's look at this number line to help us understand improper fractions. So this number line is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So we'll make that the denominator. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sections shaded in. So that's our improper fraction. There are 13 sections shaded in. There are 13 sections of 5 shaded in. So our improper fraction is 13 out of 5. Let's look at these squares to make some more improper fractions. These are divided into thirds, the yellow ones, so we'll make that our denominator. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of 3 shaded in. The pink ones are divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections shaded in. So we have 8 out of 5. And in both cases, our numerator is larger than our denominator. So these are improper fractions. Other examples of improper fractions could be 12/4, 7/3, 10/8, and I bet you can think of more examples yourself. So why don't you pause the video and write down some examples of improper fractions. And now let's talk about mixed numbers. A mixed number is when you combine a whole number with a fraction. For example, let's say you have 2 cookies, but someone ate half of one of your cookies. You're left with 1 cookie and 1/2 of a cookie, or 1 and 1/2 cookies. That's a mixed number, 1 1/2. Remember earlier when we talked about improper fractions and we used this number line? We decided that this was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and that was our denominator, and that there were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sections shaded in. And our improper fraction was 13/5 or 13 over 5. We can use that same number line to describe a mixed number. If 5 sections makes a whole, as indicated by this 1, there's 1, and 5 out of 5 of these are shaded in, that's another whole, so we can add those together. We have 2, and then in this section we have 1, 2, 3 out of 5 are shaded in. So our mixed number to represent this entire number line is 2 3/5. So 2 sections and 3 out of 5 sections are shaded. Our mixed number is 2 3/5. So all of these areas here that are shaded in, the orange, the green, the purple, and the light purple, they can all be represented as mixed numbers. So let's figure out what mixed number they represent. We can see that these are divided in the orange. They're divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So if we have a fraction part, and we do, the denominator will be 5. All of these are shaded in, so that represents one whole part. All 5 out of 5 of these sections are shaded in, so that's another whole part. All 5 of these 5 sections are shaded in, that's another part. So that's 1, 2, 3 whole parts, and 2 out of 5 are shaded in this section. So our mixed number is 3 2/5. So let's look at the green circles. This entire green circle is shaded in. This entire green circle is shaded in. So that's 2. And then 1 out of 2 parts are shaded in the third circle, which represents 1/2 or 1 out of 2. So our mixed number here is 2 1/2. Let's look at the third one. So these are divided into sections of 3, and all 3 of these are shaded in, that's 1. All 3 of these are shaded in, that's another one. And 1 out of 3 of these are shaded in, so that can be represented by 1 out of 3, and we have 2 whole circles shaded in, so our mixed number is 2 1/3. Let's look at this one. These are also divided into 3 sections, and here's one whole circle that is shaded in, here's another one, and this one also. This one is shaded in 1 part out of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3 whole circles shaded, 3 holes, and 1/3. 3 1/3 is our mixed number. So for these 2 mixed number representations, I'd like for you to pause the video, determine the mixed number that they represent, unpause the video, and then check your answer with mine. So we can tell that these circles are divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So that will be our denominator. There are 6 parts, 6 equal parts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those are shaded in this circle. This is one whole because 6 out of 6 are shaded in. 6 out of 6 of these are shaded in, so that's another whole, and 6 out of 6 of these are shaded in, that's another. So 1, 2, 3 is our whole number, and 5, 6 is our fraction, so our mixed number is 3 5/6. These squares are divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. So that will be our denominator. In this one, we can tell that 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 10 are shaded in. So that's our fraction. This one we have 10 out of 10 shaded in, so that's one hole. 10 out of 10 shaded in here, that's another hole. And 10 out of 10 shaded in here, that's the third. So we have 1, 2, 3 whole boxes shaded in and 9/10 of a square shaded in. So our fraction for this one is 3. Our mixed number for this one is 3 and 9/10. Other examples of mixed numbers could be 10 and 5/8, 15 and 20 over 23. Let's say 50 and 1/2. And I bet you can think of some more. So why don't you pause the video and write down some other examples of mixed numbers. And now we're going to discuss like denominators and unlike denominators. Fractions with like denominators are pretty much what they sound like, fractions that have denominators that are all alike. Let's take, for example, if you had 4 dogs, 1 bird, and 2 cats, and we're going to talk about those in terms of fractions. So as far as your pets go altogether, you have 4, 5, 6, 7 total. That's your denominator. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs. So of your pets, 4/7 of them are dogs. You still have 7 pets, that's your denominator, but one of those is a bird. So 1/7 of your pets are birds. You have 7 pets still altogether, so 7 is your denominator, but 2 out of those 7 are cats. So 2/7 of your pets are cats. Your common denominator here, or your like denominator, is 7. It's used to describe how many pets you have in the fraction world. And so we have more pizzas to talk about fractions. That seems to be pretty common, to use pizza to talk about fractions. This pizza is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal sections. And here we have 8 out of 8 sections. That's one whole pizza. Here we still have it divided into 8 sections. That's our denominator, but our numerator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we only have 7 out of 8 slices in this picture, 7/8. This one is still divided into 8 sections, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8, or 6/8 of the pizza. Somebody's getting pretty hungry. It's still divided into 8 sections, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, 5/8 of a pizza. It's divided into 8 sections, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4/8 left. And here it's still divided into 8 sections. We have 3 out of 8 slices, or 3/8 of a pizza. This one's divided into 8 sections. We're down to 2, so we have 2 out of 8 slices, or 2/8 of a pizza. Here we have 8 sections and we only have 1 left. We have 1/8 of a whole, 1/8 of the pizza, 1 out of 8 slices. Notice that our denominator is the same. This is called a like or common denominator. The denominator is the same because it's all divided into equal sections. The numerator is different in each one of them. When fractions have like denominators, it's a lot easier to add and subtract them, as you can see, because we can take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. They have the same 8 sections in each of these. This one has 3 out of 8. This one has 2 out of 8. And if we put all of them together, we can easily tell there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 8. And we've just added a fraction. But just hold on, we'll talk about that in another video. Here are some fractions with like denominators. Another one would be 3/9, 4/9, and I bet you can think of some too. So why don't you pause the video and fill in the rest of the fractions with like denominators. Fractions with unlike denominators always have different denominators. The denominators are not the same, they're all different. So those fractions are divided into different parts. For example, this yellow circle is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. That's our denominator. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 of those are shaded. So that's our numerator. The square is divided into 2 equal parts, and one of those is shaded, so 1/2. This rectangle is divided into 3 equal parts, and 2 of those are shaded. So we have 7/8, which has 8 as a denominator, 1/2, which has 2 as a denominator, and 2/3, which has 3 as a denominator, and all of these denominators are different, so they're unlike. All of these denominators are unlike, and that's what an unlike denominator is. Here are more examples of fractions with unlike denominators. So remember, the denominator is on the bottom. This is what it is divided into, which is 2 equal parts, and our numerator is how many are shaded, so 1 out of 2. 2 is our denominator. This is divided into 3 sections, so our denominator is 3, and 2 of those are shaded in. This one is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal sections. That's our denominator, and 4 of those are shaded in. These are all unlike denominators because they're not the same. And here are some examples of fractions with unlike denominators. 1/5, 5/8, 2/3. I bet you can think of some more. Why don't you pause the video and think of some more unlike denominators you can add to our list. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.